My wife has got one sister, and her and her husband had a printing business. And they somehow, we didn't know this at the time, but we found out later that they got my wife's parents involved as part owners of the business. And what we found out later was that they had the house down to be used as collateral in case anything went wrong. Well, guess what happened? The business collapsed. One of the business partners, he took all the workers and all the equipment and all the contracts, and all of a sudden they were left with nothing. And so all of a sudden the banks came knocking on their door. I think they owed, it was over $1 million that they ended up owing to the taxation department, and they obviously didn't have the money for it. So they ended up having to sell my parents' house. Now, my parents are aged, they're in their 70s and 80s, and they were, I remember my mum-in-law especially, she was on the floor. She collapsed because she's thinking, oh my goodness, we've lost our house. This is all we've got. They've only got the one house. They're pensioners. And even my wife at the time, she was like, she was distraught, thinking, oh my goodness, what can we do? With our little understanding, we thought, you know what, we're going to pray. What else can we do? We weren't financially able to help them, so we ended up praying. We'd learnt at least to pray, and at the time I believe we fasted, and I think it was only a day fast, but it was a fast nonetheless. My wife and I did that. Now, apparently my mum-in-law went into the bank and was pleading with the bank to let them off somehow. There happened to be a rich benefactor who was standing next in line, and he overheard the story, and he, with a compassionate heart, he spoke to the bank manager and said, look, I've got a lot of business with you guys. If you don't let these poor people off the hook and give them their house, I'm going to take all my business and take it elsewhere. Well, the end of the story is this: the bank manager, wanting to keep the business with that rich benefactor, he decided to let the parents stay in the house. They're still there to this day, and thank God, a prayer was answered, and all the glory goes to God. What we learned out of all this experience was that, well, firstly, you just got to put your trust in the Lord, because, like, in the natural, we didn't have any means to help them at the time. So we were really left with one choice, and that was to pray. And at the time we understood also fasting. We had some knowledge about sacrificing yourself. As the Lord himself gave an example of, he sacrificed himself for us and our sins and everything that is wrong in the world. He sacrificed himself to make things right. So we've learned a little bit there to sacrifice ourselves, even a fast, or giving up something that means something to us unto the Lord as an offering. The Lord will respect that, and he did in this occasion. He answered the prayer with a mighty miracle. For this rich benefactor to be there in the line at that right time, and with a heart to actually help my parents-in-law, I mean, it's just like, that's beyond the natural. And he's a mighty God, and he can perform miracles no matter what situation you're in and what you ask for. Just pray, believe, trust in God, and be ready to give everything you can, that we can, and then he meets us where we're at, and then he does the rest, and all the glory goes to God.